Okay, we're on the air.
Okay. This payment that I'm supposed to make tomorrow was just a scare tactic.
Yeah.
So, and I did call an attorney, and nobody would handle it.
Which payment was this now?
For the so-called non-judicial foreclosure. That where the servicer was going to foreclose, or that I.
Oh, you mean they really didn't foreclose because they knew you would overturn it in the judicial state?
Yeah, that they just wanted me to sign up and
okay.
pay. So, and that they really can't foreclose. They have to go through a judicial process.
Okay. Well, you can probably nail them for that.
I mean, how traumatic can that be?
Yeah.
So anyways, I'd been chewing this attorney's ear off in the county clerk's office, and she pulled some strings and got through to this law library or big law organization with this lady that's got a lot of clout, and she's gonna knock some heads off at Bank of America tomorrow.
Okay, so they were just.
I'm on the line now.
Yeah, Patrick. Hi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Again, this is Gita. Are you Gita? She was facing a non-judicial foreclosure in a foreclosure state, and
no,
she
this
found
is
out. Pat.
Okay.
And she found out that it was just a scare tactic, and the county told her they had no authority to do that on her.
Okay, you got your 1099-C in and everything?
I did, but Tom and I were talking about whether I'm questioning whether I sent it to the right place. I sent it to the Treasury and noted Bank of America and the bank number.
You need to send the B copy to them. Okay?
Yes, with the B copy to them.
To the Bank of America or to whoever is one that is doing the foreclosure.
Right.
Yeah.
But
okay,
you
so
still
got the B copy of that?
Pardon?
They have the B copy of that?
Yes, I sent that directly to the CFO and made sure he signed for it.
So, but then we fill it out, the debtor as the CFO, care of the Treasury, at the Treasury address?
No, not the Treasury. You do it with
Comptroller.
The bank that's got the mortgage.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Because that's the way I did mine today, was to the CFO at the bank address, and in the debtor box. Good.
And you put them on notice, and then you get your other one into the IRS at wherever it needs to go, either Kansas City or to Cincinnati with the 1096 form, the A copy.
Okay.
Okay, and then basically you've got that. If there's no court case with this one yet, right?
Right.
Okay. You could file that in with the county, give the county attorney or whoever a copy of that you have filed this in to cancel the debt.
And the sheriff, too. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
No, just the county attorney, okay?
Okay.
And then you will bring charges against him if he doesn't stop this process. So you know how to go after his bond of office now, okay?
Yeah, yes, we do.
You can write a charge and discharge so much any harm that you would put that in block 3 and then cancel 10 times or 20 times that amount of his liability bondage out there for his insurance policy. So if he doesn't comply, basically then you're going to tie him up, his office. You're not tying him up, but you're tying the office up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they may want to go and find a new person to fill that office. Give him a good Christmas present.
Because that claim would still be against the office.
Yeah, and you need to mention that this is a legacy action. An American legacy action.
Mm-hmm. Should I redo it if it doesn't say legacy action?
Well, basically, I would put something in, do the Form 56, and redo that and state that you are the fiduciary over the legacy account.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your form, your state EIN, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you are now the fiduciary of the American legacy account, that basically that account and the insurance and everything else for that mortgage was based upon. And you know the fraud that they've been perpetrating.
So we could put the word legacy in the account number right below the debtor on the C.
Well, behind your name, okay?
Oh, okay.
The borrower was your fictional person, and he was the legacy account holder. Now he is dead. You, as the living, are the American, the genuine American legacy owner, PEO. That's your title. Genuine American Legacy Owner - PEO.
Hey, Patrick, this is Steve. You mentioned when you said that the Form 56 and the fiduciary over what the loan was written. It's not a loan, but you called it something else. You called it a fraud, or what did you call it? It's not a loan. It's just like you're buying a security with them.
Yeah,
is what you are.
You loaned them the money to begin with, okay? But your fictional person was the one that loaned them the money.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're the owner of this account, of this legacy.
Right. So anything like that's what Gene Keating said, that any note that has a maturity of more than 9 months is actually a security. If it's not included as a note, it's excluded. So any note that's more than 9 months old is a security. And
well,
I have
we don't
the law.
care how they do it, okay?
Yeah.
Someone's got their mic open and listening to it on the speakerphone. Please mute yourself out.
We just have to know that we were the lender to begin with. They have no money. We're the only one that has any real substance.
Yeah.
Just like the insurance companies. They have no money. They have to get it from us.
I think to take care of this, let me do a *5, which mutes everybody out, and then, Patrick, if you mute yourself back in. Just a second. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they call an antecedent debt, because you loaned them the money before they ever wrote the mortgage. They
Right.
cashed that promissory note.
Mm-hmm.
That's the antecedent debt, yeah.
And you could come back after them for harm caused.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to do that because I paid off my house, but they did threaten to sell it, and I had to, like, sign it over to somebody else until I pay them off, you know, so it did give me big harm.
And basically then also you can write out a 3949A if they proceed any further. And they are operating as a racketeer and as an embezzler.
You know, after I paid off my house, I asked for my promissory note back, and they didn't come up with that. I don't know if I have to ask the county. All they did was do a reconveyance of the person that I assumed the loan from. They didn't even have my name on any of the paperwork. So they probably just got free money because the loan was never written in my name. I assumed the loan, but they should have done an ovation, but they never do. And, you know, like all my promissory notes just disappeared. I have to ask for it back. I have to do a demand and claim from the county and the bank, but already the bank didn't provide it.
Well, that's one thing that I'm going after right now. These substitute forms that I was talking about last night. We make up a substitute 1099A and a substitute 1099C. And a lot of the information that we need to have on there is not on those forms right now, okay? What I'm making up is a substitute where I have me as the living, the genuine American legacy owner, PEO, as the lender. My fictional person is going to be the borrower, the borrower, and he was the legacy account holder, okay, until basically we come along and declare him dead. We granted to him, and this is what goes on your Form 56, is that the genuine American owner of the American legacy account granted to the decedent for his life. Well, as soon as he died, it reverts back to us. But we have to put the claim in now as abandoned property using a 1099A. We send that either to the depository or depositary or to the insurance company, because we got insurance policies out there on our fictional person. He's no longer alive. If the insurance company does not terminate those policies, they are operating in insurance fraud. You cannot insure the dead. And we've declared him dead with the SS4. So I'm putting down on the 1099A, the substitute 1099A, that we're the lender, then we have the borrower, then we have the legacy depository account, and or insurance policy number. Then I've got the depositary or insurance issuer federal identification number. Then their name and address on there. Okay, so I added a whole nother section there under the first column for the depositary or the insurance policy issuer. Come over on the other side, we can't put down a value in there in block 2 or 4 on that item because we don't know what it is. I took block 3, which basically they had blocked out, nothing in there, and I put type of exemption. And I typed in American Legacy. You cannot tax an American legacy. I'll let you guys think that one through, okay? You can't tax what is out here to begin with, okay?
And you're saying our fund is the American Legacy, so they're embezzling from the beginning already. They're already doing it.
Yes, that's what I said last night. They are black-hearted, just like in the movie Interstate 60. Red spades and black hearts. Not everybody out here has a red and honorable heart. There's a bunch of black hearts out here. And that's the game you're playing. It's all a game to them. And if they can get away with it, basically, they can win. Is it cheating? Only when you get caught. Okay. I put under block 5, check here if the borrower is personally liable for repayment of the debt. Yes. Okay. And then I put a column for 5A and 5B. 5A is going to be the legacy assets held by depositary or insurance company. You mark either one of those. And then 5B is required termination and liquidation per 1099B or 1099R. Your certificate of live birth is being held in the depositary. Your DD-214 is being held in the depositary. They come under a 1099B. The insurance policy come under 1099R. And then I put a bigger block there for description of legacy assets abandoned to detail it out. I did a redo of the 1099V to where we will send this along with that to when we send the B copy to either the depositary or the insurance company. We will make them the vouch E. And it's going to be an American PEO's legacy voucher/warrant. So I hope to have this posted up there tomorrow, and you can read this over. But I went over some of this stuff last night on the call about that certificate of live birth contract was basically setting up an artificial person to act in our behalf as the American Inherent Legacy account holder for us, the genuine owner, until we come of age of 21.
And that's like proper and everything, and that's like red-hearted. But as soon as they do it past age 21, then they're like in dishonor, or then they're doing the fraud.
Yeah, and basically they started it out by getting you to sign up either at birth to have a Social Security account, or when I signed up, I think I was 11 or 12 at the time, back in 62 or something like that, 61 or 62, somewhere in that time frame, before they killed Kennedy, okay? And then they have you under their system, see?
Yeah.
And basically setting up an insurance policy over that. Insurance is the destroyer of this country. Now, the bankers are involved, but basically the biggest destroyer is the insurance companies.
And that's when it's a false religion.
Yeah. Yeah, believing that you can protect the dead. Because our fictional person has always been dead. We just have to come forward and declare him dead. And they got us to be the guarantor or the naked underwriter for their insurance policies. And you do.
So what we're doing is we're confirming, or we're vouching the fact that indeed he is dead. And therefore, we can't be an underwriter anymore, and you can't protect the dead anymore. You got to protect. You got to give the assets to the living.
We put a statement on here. The final order is that Mr. Patrick Devine, the genuine American, revokes all his deceptive subscriptions as being the guarantor and underwriter for any and all associated corporate insurance policies, as it is a violation of his religious beliefs.
Perfect.
Don't be afraid to use religion into this process. That carries one hell of a lot of weight, because that's how they're operating, as a religion. You just don't see it as that, but that's what it is. It's their belief system.
So, well, you said you the straw man. What are you? The living man, the guarantor legacy owner, revokes the process of the John Doe being the guarantor. You call it warrantor or whatever, something else.
No, they have us, the living, as the guarantor and the naked underwriter. On your driver's license, on your Social Security card, your fictional person's name was up the top. You signed under that, didn't you?
Right, right.
So you were the underwriter or the undersigner.
Right.
The one who is going to be the guarantor of that contract. That's their deception. And then it is a black-hearted policy, because they never gave the essential details of and honorable commitments of that contract. It was black. It was void.
Did you say you're gonna put something up that has this kind of phrases in it, but you haven't yet?
I haven't put it up yet.
Yes, there's new 1099s, A's, and C's.
Yeah, but you're saying this is part of the cover letter you got to write.
Well, this is going to be on the special order of a redemption that is on the 1099-V form.
Redemption. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to look that one up.
I'll put something else up there, and you guys could put it however you want to do it into anything, but you need to start going in and using the word legacy, that you are not. See, there is no trust in this country. I've said that for I don't know how many years now. Okay? All these people out here that are talking trust this and trust that and trying to get you to set up a trust. You stay the hell away from anybody that tries to talk you into setting up a trust, because all trusts are set up by attorneys. You are an individual. You don't need any outside influences in that regard. Everything that I'm doing is trying to be done on an individual basis. I'm only trying to tell you this is what I'm doing. If you want to do it, do it. But it's being done as you are an individual. You're not a group. I'm not setting up a cult or anything like that to be a leader of a cult. I want individuals out there, ones that can think for themselves. I'm just trying to give you a little helping hand to start you down that road.
Yeah, that word means undividable.
Yeah. You have to pull all of your persons back into your household. Your 13th rib that was taken away from you, your spirit of America, which is basically your fictional person who is holding your legacy. That's your spirit that's been taken away from you, your legacy. Just like in the Bible, the 13th rib that Adam lost. They took his spirit away from him. Then he was left with just 12, not 13. That's why the number 13 in the seal of the United States of America is so prominent. 13 stars, 13 arrows, 13 olive leaves. 13 states. Friday the 13th is our day. It's not unlucky, it's lucky. And it scares the hell out of the dark side. Because when you have all 13, you now have the light. And the dark goes away when the light shines. Bill, you on the line? If you are, unmute yourself. *6.
Well, that's the whole checkerboard game there, Patrick. What you just said.
Yeah, it's all right there. It's all pretty simple. It's all right in the Bible, numerous times over.
Patrick, where do we send these corrected 1099As and 1099Cs?
Where do you send them?
Yes. To the county? To the state?
The same place you sent them before.
Okay. To the Attorney General and to the bank?
No, to basically who has that insurance policy. Okay. Like your driver's license, basically the state insurance commissioner and also the comptroller of the state.
Okay.
I would put, and I'm making the voucher out to both of them. I'm sending it to the insurance commissioner, that I will also copy the comptroller of the state. Now, you send the original or whatever copy to the insurance commissioner, the certificate of title to the house, the certificate of title to your vehicle. Those are all insurance policies. Everything out here is an insurance policy except for your certificate of live birth. It is a, what did I have up there yesterday? It's an SDR.
That's your certificate of live birth?
Huh? The certificate of live birth is basically a SDR, and that is a, no, it's an ADR, okay?
ADR.
It's an American Depositary Receipt.
Okay.
Okay? And it was issued by the state depository bank, by the secretary of that state. But it's being held in the depository at the federal level. What were you saying?
I said, is that bonded as well?
No.
Sure.
That is real assets.
So it has no insurance behind it at all?
It is a depository, okay? There's a big difference between a depository and a depository. Your non-interest-bearing checking account is in a depository, but your savings account is in a depository. A depository, they can write bonds against it. They can utilize that for their benefit. And then you also have ADSs, okay? American Depository Stock. And see, we're the shareholders of these corporations, of the United States Black Heart Corporation. Yeah, our ADSs are American Depository shares, okay? And they are being used. They have bonds written against those, and they're being held at the DTC. In Seed and Company. But I told people last night, okay, there's a IRS publication, P1179, that is out there that addresses making up substitute 1099 forms. You don't have to use the IRS forms. Even though they threaten you with the $50 fine, no, they can't fine you basically when you do a substitute.
Now, what about for the red copy?
It's, okay, you're making a substitute up. You can put it on red for the number 1 page if you want to. But the only reason that they had a red copy out there for their forms was because they stick that form into a reader and the machine reads that.
So it's
The
government
forms that we're
understanding the
using,
code when they put into that machine.
the substitute forms that we're doing, they're going to have to manually load that in. Because it's not going to match up with their computer reader.
I see.
Hey, Patrick, did you say that was a P like Papa or a T like Tango? 1179.
P like Pat.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's a publication. It's 60-some pages long, and you need to look it over.
Yep.
Yeah, we can make up forms ourselves.
Yeah,
We've
we're
always
principal
had,
executive officers. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, if you're a principal executive officer, you make your own paperwork up. You're
Well,
like the king.
we're also the creators on Mother Earth here.
Yeah.
We can create anything. Except for matter. But we can reposition matter to our benefit when you know how to operate the harmonics and everything of the system.
Hey, Pat, can I quiz you on some stuff about stamps?
Yeah, but you've got some noise in the background. Could you please?
Yeah, I'm in a kind of a public place here. Not much I can do.
You're gonna have to get to a place I can barely hear you.
Okay, wait a sec. I'll go park my butt in the bathroom.
He's swimming in the Matrix.
Yeah, there's you guys hear me better?
Yeah. Do you have your speaker on?
I think so. Supposed
Yeah,
to.
turn your
You're like
speaker off.
Oh, okay, let me go check. That's an option there, I think.
There's getting a little feedback here.
Yeah, well, he's in the room with a lot of echo.
Yeah, well, I'm in the bathroom right now.
I know, that gives you the echo with all the hard surfaces.
Okay.
Okay, what's the question?
Okay, when you're using stamps, okay, I gotta put some, like the seal of the Americas on one of those stamps in 1934. I want to use that for when I send my whatever treaty or whatever to those guys there. I want to, write something on it, but I wonder if you just put "We the People" on that seal, and just a thumbprint with copyright on it. I don't know if if you get in trouble with using stamp like that because they already got a copyright for it. But since that one I want to use is 1934, Copyright probably expired a while ago. So we're just making document and using those envelopes because those envelopes are important too. It's like a court or something like that. So the way you craft your stuff for on those envelopes is kind of important. There's
You're
even
up in
people
Canada,
that
aren't you?
yeah.
You got too much of a Canadian accent there.
Yeah, well, I'm French too, so I'm from Quebec, but I speak pretty good English. Don't worry.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the accent
Now,
you can't get rid of.
basically, everything. Okay, you're gonna have to listen to the audio. Okay, Tom posted the audio that I did yesterday, and the ones that I did last week. Okay.
Yeah.
But
You mean the
Canada is in the same situation as America.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't dispute that. It's a fact. I know. I even got a stamp from 1937 that shows when the Virginia company bankrupted, that became the United States of America, and it shows the Northwest Territory, and they show Cutler and another guy on that stamp, the guys that signed the treaty there for the Northwest Territory. So I got the proof. It's the same stuff. There's no dispute anymore. It's a fact. Okay, they put it on a stamp, so it's international.
Right.
So they pulled that stamp in 1937 because I've been studying a stamp a little because I know they come for some kind of authority, and even the United Nations stamps too. Some of them. They got a special post office for all those things there, and there's not that many across the world. I know there's one in New York.
Okay.
Okay, but basically, what the whole gist of this is, you have an American legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, not a Canadian legacy or a United States legacy, but an American legacy, because you come from the continent America.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Made in America.
And you are a genuine American.
Yeah.
And a genuine American has the right of free travel from the tip of Canada all the way down to where the dividing line is between South and North America.
I think it's the Panama Canal that they educated the between North and South America.
Now, wherever the dividing line is, the equator is, that they have the cutoff. Okay?
Yeah.
And see, that's why in the movie Wizard of Oz, you only saw the Good Witch of the North. That was representing North America.
Yeah, that's gonna make sense. But the envelope, I'm gonna put because I've got a problem. There's some stuff that happened concerning a succession of my father in 1983. They screwed up royally. So I want to revisit their stuff that they made in 1983 that they screwed up royally.
But let's just go with what we've got today. Okay? Do you have an estate EIN for your fictional person?
Well, not yet, but I plan to do that.
Okay, that's what you need to get. You need to declare him dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask him
as soon as he is declared dead, all the assets that he has jurisdiction over have to revert back to the original owner or grantor, who is you.
Yeah.
And you have to come in and claim those with the 1099-A, because he has now died, so he abandoned his office.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, he abandoned his office. He's no longer there, so now you come in and you're going to claim everything that office is holding.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wise, man. I like it. That's an office.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the Queen. Now, in England, those people have to possibly go to the Queen, and they need to read the definition in Anderson's Law Dictionary about the definition of light, L-I-G-H-T.
Yeah, I heard that on other audio.
But they
Very
also
interesting.
can be a grantor there if they stand up to the damn Queen.
Yeah. But concerning Quebec, they kicked the Queen out in 1968, okay? So, and they're under treaty with the United States of America because of the St. Lawrence River Treaty, which Montreal is right in there. And that was where I was born. So I don't like the Queen, I guarantee you that. And from what I understand, the Brits, man, I fucking burned both sides of the St. Lawrence River in, I can't remember, 17 something. And they sold it back to France. They sold Quebec back to France for $1 million after they burned, raped, and pillaged it. They had the audacity to sell back Oron for the own France country back to them for $1 million.
But
so
that is
just
a corporate. That is just a secondary charter, okay?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
See, everybody in America is under the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was not just written for those 13 little states out there.
Well,
it was written basically for every American.
Yeah. Well, I saw a 14 that refers to Canada. You know that on that seal there, the one right above the head of the eagle, there's 14 rounds where the 13 stars are. So I figured that 14, there was a 13 colony, and they included either the Northwest Ordinance or Canada, because they put 14 circle around those 13 stars, and there might be something else in there.
Yeah,
it's not
Canada
just the 13
had the
colonies.
option to join America, to join into the de jure government of America back after the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, that's where the Republic escaped when in 1737, when the British pummeled the Canadian Republic into submission on Navy Island. They had to escape to the United States, so they took refuge in the United States. They were going to get murdered by the British, and there was French native and all those guys involved in that. It was called the Hunter's Lodge. And I read the oath that the members of the Hunter Lodge had to take, man, and it's all against the British. They swear not to obey to any queen and blah blah blah. That stuff. That was the oath of the Republic back then, and it was the same apparently for the Americans too. The American side, they had to, the jury was against the British monarchy as big time. And rightly so, I think. In light of what these guys are doing, I just, I just don't lie. How more evil can you be? And who do you trust when you think your friends are your enemy? Who needs an enemy with a friend like that?
Well,
that's what I think.
Can we please stay on the subject?
Yeah, basically what you need to do is try to get a bunch more of those Canadians up there to start listening to what I'm talking about here, because and I've talked to several of them, Robert Menard and other people years ago, and they need to be brought into this understanding, because this is where it's all at. Okay? Is in these 1090, we were supposed to learn our ABCs. The 1099A, the 1099B, the 1099C. Now, see, we weren't supposed to need the 1099R. When we came 1099R. The 1099R is the insurance policies.
Oh,
And see, that's what they brought into play by putting the Social Security system into place.
Yep. What an evil tool, eh?
That's just a big insurance policy.
Yep.
And then all the little insurance policies derive their assets from the usage of the Social Security number.
Currently, they give you that number right at birth. It's already been issued, and when you want one, they just give you
But
the
all
one
we
that
have
they
to
issue.
do is when you do your SS4 and declare your fictional dead,
Yeah.
okay, now you have a death certificate for him.
Yeah, that's what the death certificate is, yeah.
Then you basically, you become the fiduciary over him. Then you have to turn around and do the 1099As and submit those in and cancel out all of the insurance policies. And if they do not comply, okay, and they have 3 days to close those insurance policies down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's death and resurrection.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, see, a lot of this stuff is right in the Bible.
Yeah, I know, man. It's just unbelievable.
The insurance system was out there back in Jesus' time.
Yeah.
1,000 years before that.
You still have a lot of noise going on there. It sounds like you're rattling things all around.
Well, maybe my coat there. I got my winter coat.
Yeah, but right now I would say just try and follow what I gave to you there and listen to the rest of the audio. And basically listen to what I put out yesterday and get the documents off the site.
I got all that.
Try and put a package up there, a rewrite of the Form 56 and the Form 56F, the substitute 1099A, the 1099C, and also a 1099 voucher. And we don't have to worry about the 1099B or the 1099R. We order them to process those. They're the payer. So they can use those forms and then give us the copy and tell us how much is in that policy. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's for sure. We ain't disclosing nothing.
Yes.
No doubt. But, okay, I'm going to mute again, and thanks for the info. It's been running in my head there. I ordered some stamps from eBay, blah, 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 and I'm just trying to find a way to use them, inventively.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, go sit by the fire.
Okay.
I know it's probably cold up there.
Yeah, I'll put a log for you guys.
Okay. Later.
All right, guys. Later.
Okay, so, yeah, everything is, see, we have an irrevocable letter of credit out here with our legacy. They can't revoke our credit, so don't worry about them saying, well, you have no credit. When you do this, you will get your legacy account. Now, I was hoping Bill was going to be on the line because he's utilized that word before, and he also had a visit from the IRS on Friday, and I was going to let him tell you a little bit about his visit and also about what happened when he did use the term legacy in one of his actions. So if you're on the line, Bill, unmute yourself with a *6 and come on the line.
Hi.
Yeah.
This Bill?
All right, I'm here. I've been hollering at you, man. You guys had me situated where I couldn't say nothing.
Okay.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, what you want me to say?
Well, basically tell them about your visit on Friday with the IRS agent, and then also tell them about the when you utilize the word legacy there that you told me about the other day.
Yeah, all right. Well, I got a visit from the IRS agent. She was trying to extort me, and it just so happened that I was ready. I was looking for some money, but she tried to come in my house. Number one, she parked out on the street and didn't park in the driveway, and I didn't know who it was, but she tried to act like she was, trying to like she's trying to take them. I said, hey, wait a minute, you don't know who you're dealing with. So because of my status, I let her know unequivocally, and she all of a sudden tried to hurry and get up out of here, because I was ready for her, and I had already sent in several documents into the IRS several days before, so, and I found out today they got there on the 6th and the 7th of this month, so but she wanted me to pay $120,000. I said, you got to be crazy, but, I dealt with her, and she ran on with her head between her legs and got away from me, like she saw a ghost. I'm not going to tell you what I did to make her look like she saw a ghost, but she acted like she saw a ghost when I put some stuff on her. But then I got a letter today from the IRS, and I did a 1040 NR, and all of a sudden now they want to say that I got had a refund coming, but at the same time they don't know what to do with me. But I'm gonna call them up tomorrow, and plus I'm gonna send them a letter. So,
that was from a year ago. Yeah, from a year ago now. Yeah. But now here lately I've been getting all kind of situations, so I know that they don't know what to do with me or how to do with me. No, they're just trying to threaten and intimidate. Now, tell them about the time that you used the word legacy and what happened that time.
Yeah. This goes back several years, but I used to sell insurance, and one thing about you have financial advisors, you have different type of advisors. Well, I went through a course, and I was a legacy advisor. And when I mentioned the legacy advisor, and this was to the treasury agents. These are, treasury agents, in which this goes back several years ago. But when I mentioned I was a legacy advisor, they looked at me strange, and they wanted to hear and they wanted to get away from me fast. I said, what the heck you call? But not realizing what I'd done until testify mentioned about the legacy. But
when we started looking at the legacy, then it started coming into play. That's why they ran away from you.
Yeah. And they
can't touch a legacy.
Yeah.
That is death to them because that's the real substance.
Yeah. But it really upset them when they found out that I was a legacy advisor. They said, "Oh my word!" And so they really you know, there's certain things, and it's funny how you be on this journey and you never know how you perceive or what things come across you. You know, it's a force beyond what I'm able to comprehend on why I'm doing what I'm doing. But it's, for some reason, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
It is working. Seems like, you know, it's just, we just in a different type of environment or something.
Yeah, when you stand up to these people, then basically, and you have your documents, like what we've been trying to do here, getting those state EINs, you've declared your person dead. We just didn't know what we needed to do the rest of the process. Hell, I had my estate EIN almost 4 years ago. I had my foreign grantor trust almost 5 years ago. But we didn't know what to do with them. And that's because all the IRS forms out here aren't helping us see what it needs to be done. That's why we have to turn around and do the 1099-C and the 1099-A as substitute forms to make them fit our situation. Because they're missing data that is needed on there for us to take control. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, it sounds like what they did is deliberately remove the data, and it's up to us to figure it out and put it back.
Well, they use the standard, what data normally is going to be processed through, okay? The vast majority of the people. And basically it was primarily for the benefit of the corporations. It wasn't for our benefit those forms were made the way they were.
Right.
It was for the corporations. But see, that's where we have to wake up to the fact that they are black-hearted. They're void of a lot of the substance that is needed out here. They have no honor.
What's going on? I've been listening to the call, and I don't know what's happening because I didn't hear the last call last night, and
we can barely hear you. Can you speak up?
I mean, it's an awesome thing, but Patrick, you guys have lost me in the last 24 hours, so I'm trying to get updated.
Yeah, I was just trying to give a little more update of what I went over last night on the call. Okay, so you're going to need to get in there, download the call from yesterday, and listen to that one. And then also listen to the tidbits that I threw out here tonight.
Okay. But everything is still a go, other than what I'm hearing about the legacy.
Yes, everything is a go. Okay, we've got our stuff in. We've got them now starting to communicate back with us. Finally, in some of this regards, but you just keep hammering at them. Okay, you don't let up. And basically, when I get these substitute forms, and basically if anybody else out there understands how to make forms up, they can make their own form up. Just think about what you want to have on that form.
You making this up in Nitro PDF?
that's what I'm using right now to move stuff around. I've got other form programs that I had before when I worked in nuclear power to write test forms and stuff like that, but I haven't broke that program out. But there are other programs out there to write up forms and make up your own forms.
Okay.
I have a question, Patrick. It's Gita.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I make up the form, would I do 3 on one page or 1 on one page?
I would, the way I did it, I expanded things out quite a bit, so I got one 1099A on just one page, and then I'll have to make 3 pages out of it. But I will, I'm trying to make it up to where the form, when I fill out information on one page, it will basically print out on the second page too.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to be linked together.
Right. So I would probably just do, like, say, a 1099-C on one page and then make 3 copies for the A, B, and C if needed.
Right. And, yeah. And if you got, like, Nitro PDF or something like that, you could always attach those other 2 pages to that one initial page. So that now it's all in one document. So then when you type in on one page, it will go to page 2 also. Because
what are we going to call it? The same thing?
Huh?
We're calling
it a substitute 1099A or 1099C.
A substitute, okay.
Yeah.
And then expand the area for description so we can type in a novel in there. All right, that's cool.
Well, somewhat, yeah. You don't want to type in too much of a novel.
I hope you didn't pull your hair out of your head.
No, not too much.
I want you to lose your teeth and your hair altogether. You would look great. All right.
So what's going on with the 1099B that I heard you mention?
Yeah, we're trying to make a substitute one up to the 1099C, but we're also making one up to the 1099A. Okay? And see, there was items that were missing on, like on the 1099C. When you get to that one, you have a value in Block 7. But there's no place there to detail out what is in Block 7. Okay? The Block 4 is for what debt you're canceling. So I had to put a block under Block 7, and I made it Block 8 to detail what needed to be returned to us when we cancel the debt.
This would be stuff like the manufacturer's certificate of origin or the original note?
Yes, or basically that you want this brought to full closure and have a 1099 R or 1099B completed. Primarily a 1099R because most of these would be you're canceling a debt like traffic ticket or something like that, and then you come back and say, okay, now I want the whole driver's license terminated. The driver's license is not for you, the living. It's for your fictional person who is holding your legacy account.
Patrick?
Yeah.
In Minnesota, they've got what they call a legacy account or fund that these libraries are pulling money out of or they're applying for funding for. I'm not sure how that works along with this word legacy or whatever, but I just thought I would bring it up.
They had a legacy direct account with the Treasury. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure what it is. They call it a legacy fund or account for the library.
Oh, I don't know anything about what the libraries are doing.
Well, I'm just saying that's in the state of Minnesota, and they're talking legacy money or legacy funding.
Yeah. Well, see, that basically is like when they set up the counties here in the state of Iowa, okay? When the counties were divided up, they gave so much land to the school system. So that would be a legacy that was deeded to the school. They also did that for, like, the old folks' home or the they used to have farms for people that were up in years that basically they could go out and sort of retirement homes, but they had it was like a retirement farm, okay? And they would do odd chores and stuff like that, canning or something like that, what they could. But the old people worked together. Yeah, you don't see a lot of that nowadays. They've destroyed a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up that there is something going on in the state of Minnesota with the legacy.
Right. I'm looking here that in Minnesota, the voters approved an amendment to an act that created 4 funds, one of which is the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and to preserve Minnesota's history and cultural heritage. So I think they're using legacy in the sort of as history, cultural heritage, traditions. That's the way they seem to be using that word there.
But they're putting land. The legacy is the land.
Yes.
Okay. And see, you have a inherent right to the assets that come from the land of America. All the oil, all the coal, all the water, anything that comes out of the land belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to the corporations. The corporations get 10% profit off of that, plus their operating expenses, but the other 90% of the profit is supposed to be given back to the people, like what comes out of an oil well here in this country, or what comes out of a gold mine.
Well, I just brought it up as I understand what you're saying there, Patrick. I'm just bringing this up if that would help you with any of your
not really
and stuff.
Not really.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that they're using that term in Minnesota.
Yeah. Understand that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the big one is the 1099A. That's the one to where we now have our person dead. He's abandoned his office because he's dead, and we, as the genuine American owner, not the original, okay? We're a genuine visitor to planet Earth, okay? Our spirit. We came from the original gathering way back when, so we are a genuine copy of the original. People need to know who they really are, and don't fight it, okay?
Patrick?
Yeah.
The 1099-C, just issuing that, is basically saying there's a debt, but not saying how the debt is to be paid. As we know, as you said, there's no substance in the public to pay it. So, it's kind of like a question mark that hooks you back because it never gets answered because there's nothing to pay with, unless the people who had the assets pull out an asset to pay for something, and that would wipe out the debt. So, to cancel a debt is saying, oh, there's a debt there, but it's not offering as the executor over the estate of the decedent.
Here's the deal about the debt. Okay, they have written bonds. Okay, they have no money. They get us
That's
to
probably
basically
why they do bonds. Is because they have no money.
But you have to understand this. Okay, they have no money. They have to borrow from us. So they do a trade acceptance or a bank acceptance against our account, against our credits, against our legacy account, our real assets. Now, they place a lien on that. The Federal Reserve basically accepts that, prints the money up to give to them. Then the Federal Reserve turns, but you got to listen, okay? The Federal Reserve turns around and goes to the Bureau of Public Debt. The Bureau of Public Debt writes the bond to cover that in a 3-year wagering, gambling situation, gambling on the fact that you're not going to know that all you have to do is cancel the debt, cancel the bond, and release the assets out of your account. Make good what you bought using your real assets.
I only find one fallacy there, and that is calling what the Federal Reserve makes money. It's debt. There's no money. The Federal Reserve doesn't make any money. Doesn't
They won't make any money when you pay with real substance. You'll shut them down.
But that's what I'm saying. There's never been paid with real substance, and the Federal Reserve notes are just liability notes. So
no, it is being paid with real substance after 3 years. Okay? Who buys the bonds? You do.
But you're saying that
you
they
do.
take our assets.
You do in your retirement funds. You're out there investing money into a retirement, into another insurance company. You're paying out of your back pocket for those bonds.
Yeah, my point is that that's not substance. That's not an asset.
Substance. It is substance. Did you not do labor?
No, the straw man did.
No, you did labor. Didn't you sweat your ass off to produce something, to work? Yes,
you did. There's no substance out here.
No, it is substance. When you expand energy, energy is substance.
I know that. I'm just talking about, I just keep hearing mixing apples and oranges, but it's all complaint.
Yes, and basically you're hearing the wrong thing. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
I'm hearing it, but what I'm missing is ever paying the debt. The debt
is being paid after 3 years. The comptroller of the currency has to cancel those bonds. But they keep writing more bonds, so you never really think the debt is going away.
Are you telling me the comptroller takes our assets out of our account to wipe out debt? I don't think so.
Yes, he does. Those
He doesn't
bonds
take the
have to.
assets out of our account to pay.
Okay. You know how the system works. Go play with your system, okay? I know how the system works. Okay? I've gone through the whole damn monetary system out here.
I think this economy
Now
would be in this
that
mess.
comptroller that you're referring to, is that comptroller associated with the Bureau of Public Debt?
The comptroller is over all the assets of the country for the United States Corporation.
So
He has to bring those bonds into closure at the end of 3 years. Read Bouvier's definition about the comptroller general. It's in the dictionary. It's in the dictionary.
Are you telling me those accounts are closed? They
They're
aren't
supposed
closed.
to be, but you didn't know how to close it. Your mortgage on your house is paid for at the end of 3 years.
And the comptroller doesn't know how to close them either.
Oh, yes, he does. But he can't. He can't. You have to do it.
That's right. And we're the ones that have to come up and pay the debt before we can cancel it.
You have to cancel the debt. Only you can cancel the debt.
Right, but I think first you have to pay one time to acquire it, and then you can do the
here's the deal,
and the
okay?
fee.
They wrote bonds, and basically the asset, okay? You have a mortgage, $100,000 mortgage on your house, okay? You signed a contract. They turned around and did a bank acceptance on that. They gave that to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve printed up $100,000 and gave it back to the bank to make the payment for the house. Now, the Federal Reserve turned around and wrote 10 bonds of $100,000 each. Those 10 bonds were getting a 5% return. 5% times 10 is 50% return per year. For 3 years, it gets a total of 150% return. 100% goes into your account. Okay? It goes over to your certificate of live birth legacy account, where the real assets are being held. All you have to do is cancel the debt and release those funds out of there, and basically the whole thing is settled then. See, when you cancel the debt, the bonds, on line 3, you put the mortgage, $100,000, line 3. You multiply that times 10. So now you have $1 million on line 2. You're canceling $1 million in bonds. When the bonds go away, you free up the assets that are identified on line 3 because you have an interest in that asset now. And then you just don't go any further. You've canceled the debt and you've given the payment over to that other person, to the bank. You're canceling the debt and you're also paying out of your fictional person's account with the 1099-C. You're not just sitting there canceling debt. You're also making a payment. Now, if you paid out of your back pocket, then you also add in what you paid out of your back pocket into that line 3, and then down in line 7, you say, hey, I want that to come back to me. I don't want it to go over to my fictional person's account. Now, do you see where I'm coming from? All these other people out here that think they know about the money system, they haven't been addressing one bit of what I just identified to you.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is true because I have a ex-girlfriend of mine, and she's an accountant. And, you know, I've been trying to get her through this for some months now to look at these 1099s or whatever and so forth and so on. And we finally had that talk, finally, after all this time, about this process. And from what I'm trying to illustrate is that fear stops us from doing so much out here, whether it's right, even if it is right. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I just had the same experience you just had with the lady here just a few seconds ago. So and I know what it's like, and just for shits and giggles for everybody else on the call, whenever there's anything and somebody keeps trying to turn you away from that, it's got to be the right thing to do, man. Because when somebody label you as being crazy, that's a good goddamn thing. From what I've learned from living. So whenever I hear somebody crazy, that's where I gravitate towards. So thank you so much, Patrick.
Okay. Yeah, this is just like out of back in when Moses was walking the earth, okay? Back in his time, they were storing all the assets upon the Great Pyramid. That was the treasury of Egypt. It was solid gold, the capstone of that pyramid. But yet they had everybody thinking that they were in debt to the pharaohs. And all they had to do was basically get access to their funds, which were upon the top of the pyramid. That's what Moses finally did, was came in there, and when they left Egypt, the capstone off that pyramid disappeared because it went out of town with the Hebrews that went to the east and also with the other people that went to the west. Not everybody went with Moses, okay? There was a bunch that also went to the west and turned around and came all the way over here to America. There was a lot of...
I have a question for you.
Yeah, there was a lot of cross-Atlantic traffic going on before Christopher Columbus ever thought he discovered America, and he never did make it to the mainland. He only got it into the islands. Yeah, go ahead. Question.
Yeah, back to that gentleman who brought up the situation in Minnesota. You were about to mention something regarding the Legacy Treasury Direct. Is this legacy you keep referencing to any way associated with that?
Well, basically is what they were trying to do with that Legacy Direct account was setting it up that you were still going to be tied into the system, okay? You were still under their control, but they were giving you access to some of your funds. But there again, the people didn't know how to utilize that, utilizing the 1099A and the Cs also to cancel debt and have the funds moved over to that Legacy Direct account. Okay, that's what I tried to do here recently with about that $1.5 million, but to put it into my Direct Express debit card. And I'm waiting to see what the response is going to be out of that.
So you essentially did the same thing they were trying to establish with the legacy Treasury Direct account, but with your Direct Express account.
Right.
Okay. By way of doing the cancellation of that estate funds into that account.
Yeah, you just basically cancel the debt that's behind the bonds. You make the payment, and then basically you claim any extra interest that you have in line 7 on the 1099-C, and then you put that in with the 1040 or the 1041 form, and see, you have no income, okay? Income is only for the corporations, okay? People out here volunteer too damn much information, and they're cutting their own throats. They love misery because they don't want to see what the real truth is. It's easier to go along with everybody else out here doing something wrong than to try and learn to do something right. And yes, it's the fear factor. They've got everybody so dumbed down and scared of their own damn shadow. And just like what Bill said there, basically the IRS agent coming out to the house trying to intimidate the mortgage company. The letters back that you get from some of these when you send these into the mortgage company, their legal department will come back at you and try and threaten you. Well, you're doing something that the IRS is going to come after you about. No, we're not doing the 1099 OIDs. You can't do those. I've said that about 4 years now. But we can do the ABCs that we were told to learn in school. We can't process the B form, but we can have it processed under our order. We order it to be processed to close down that certificate of live birth account because he is no longer alive. He's dead. So that certificate can no longer hold our legacy account from us. See how simple that is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. I see that completely.
Now, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, basically, if a certificate says that certificate of live birth, and basically all of a sudden you come in and say, no, he's dead, basically then the assets behind that have to go to the living individual. You're still alive, but the other guy is dead, so it's got to go to the living. The dead always support the living.
Now, the declaration of the death of that certificate of live birth person, would you say that that would be evidence by way of the SS4 acquired for the Social Security person?
Well, we're going after the Social Security, but we're going to do a 1099A, and basically for order the termination of that because he is abandoned. He's no longer alive, so that Social Security person is now dead. So that insurance policy, that Social Security insurance policy, can't be there, okay? The insurance company cannot insure a dead individual. Right? That's insurance fraud. I mean, if that was the possibility, all these insurance companies would be out there in the graveyard writing insurance policies on all those dead people out there in the graveyard.
And they'd invent a few, too.
They get away with it for about 10 years, but basically after that, they've got to stop. Yeah, they have a 10-year hiatus because the people don't know to come in and shut them down. You have to turn the light on, flip the switch of understanding.
So pretty much you have to use your 98 EIN for everything after you shut everything down.
Yeah, you'll set up your bank accounts and everything else under your 98
Mm-hmm.
and see, you're going to be exempt from all taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you owe no taxes, really. It's the corporations that owe the taxes because income tax is a tariff tax on the usage of a foreign product. And the foreign product is the Federal Reserve banking notes, the insurance system. And the taxes are there to try and equalize the playing field. And see, that's what we're supposed to be doing when we come in and start canceling this debt. We're supposed to be coming in and canceling the debt and collapsing those bonds, thereby collapsing the inflation. So if we don't collapse the bonds, we're allowing inflation, and we're just self-destructing ourselves. And that's what they wanted. These guys knew exactly how dumb the people are because it's been played out numerous times over. I could probably go into the Bible and count at least 20 different times that the Hebrews kept doing this.
I have a question about canceling the IRS taxes that I'm trying to get out of.
Go ahead.
There with the 1099-C. I mean, I don't have to do a 1040-X, do I? I can just do the 1099-C.
Well, you do the 1099-C, and then you put down the taxes that they basically are claiming you owe in Block 3. You multiply that times 10 in Block 2. You cancel that. Okay? Now, basically, where do the taxes go?
Back to you.
Back to me, right?
They have to come back to us because we're the land. And basically, all taxes have to go back to the source.
And the IRS would be the debtor?
No. But they are, the Department of the Treasury or the United States is really the debtor, but it's in your person's name, okay? That bill came to your fictional person.
Right, right.
So now the bill is going to come to, the payment in Block 7 is going to come to you, the living.
Okay.
See, your fictional person is a member, is a citizen or an employee of the United States Corporation. Right? Okay, he is. Okay? He's got to be. He's working with them. That's why you're going to kill him.
So effectively, when the IRS decides it's going to hit you with a tax, what they're really doing is to offer to pay you money.
Yes. It's your fictional person that owes the tax. So you have to come in his name, cancel the debt, free up the assets, and then have those assets delivered to you. the living.
So we should welcome these frivolous filing fees or whatever frivolous stuff they wanted to throw at us.
Yeah. Now, whether all these employees, but in most cases, when you do their forms, it's going to be read by the machine. The people, the employees, will never see that. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be kicking out, and the machines are going to say, hey, this money needs to go back to this source. Just like in the movie Matrix.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically you can, if you don't have your 90 or your estate EIN, then you can use the 1040 form, and you just put in after you've done an initial filing for the year using a 1040, then you would have to turn around and use the 1040X, but you have to be careful on that 1040X and really look at where you're going to put that entry from the 1099-C, because it doesn't call out 1099s on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hidden.
Could I get by without doing it and just go straight to the 1041?
Yeah, if you've got your estate EIN, go right to the 1041.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And then basically they will send you a treasury check because they don't have a direct deposit. They only have a direct deposit if your payout is going to be $1 million or more. But they will send you a check for up to $1 million. And you get a treasury check back, and then you have your estate EIN or your foreign grantor EIN, and basically you're not going to have too much problem in opening up a checking account, a non-interest-bearing checking account, if you want one.
Well, I already did that, and I did the 1099 for the million, and I just have to file the 1041.
1041.
Yeah, and I've got the other form to go in with that, so they'll have the checking account and everything right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and basically I'll try and have those updates for the 1090 or the Form 56 and the Form 56F up there, and you need to start addressing yourself that you are the genuine American legacy owner, the PEO of that account, Principal Executive Officer, or people for short.
Patrick, can I go back to the mortgage just for a moment?
Yeah.
In box 3, we put in the mortgage plus what we've paid in. And in box 2, we multiply that by 10. Now, in box 7, do we just ask for what we paid in, or the mortgage also?
Just you're releasing the funds. You're addressing that you're also releasing the funds to set off the account.
Yes.
Okay. For the mortgage. Now that becomes income to that mortgage company. Now the IRS is going to be looking at them. See, nobody has reported these banks as having any income.
Well, we will.
Yes. Now they will start having to pay their taxes. They're the ones that owe the taxes. And see, a lot of those taxes are basically what the de jure government needed to operate with. But see, the de facto government, the black-hearted government out here, is also writing bonds against our assets constantly. They go in and basically, how many bills are written by Congress every year? I've heard as high as 80,000 a year. Well, who is basically the backer or the guarantor of those bills? Every registered voter or every shareholder out here who has a certificate of live birth. So they're coming and writing bonds against our account for so much. The state is done the same way. The state governments have no money, so where do they get it from? They write bonds against our assets. We have to come in and cancel the debt and allow the funds to go over, release the silver, and basically it will kill them because they're just a bunch of vampires.
What would happen if everybody started canceling the bonds behind their mortgage?
Yes. If everybody would just stand up and cancel everything, basically these guys would die.
I was thinking about that today. I did send off an email to the CEO of Bank America. Tomorrow it'll be the CFO. But I was thinking about that. I felt like, don't F with me. I'll start teaching everybody how to cancel the bonds.
Yeah,
and basically, if they harm you, you can go after their liability bond of office.
Mm-hmm. You know, when they start sending you those letters and they start rifling them, you know, you'll get 2 a day, you know, every single day for 10 days, you know, just to intimidate you. I mean, that's nothing but abuse. And, you know, they start doing that to you, and it's like they need to be put in their place.
I'll set out a fee schedule for that and charge them for it.
Well, that's where they think they have the power, and it's like, no, wait a minute.
You've got the power.
Right.
You just didn't know you've got the power, okay? They don't want you to know that you've got the power. Mm-hmm. So they try and threaten and intimidate you constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So when we send in our current 1090, pardon, go ahead.
On the clarification, they're paying taxes on the original amount of the mortgage then?
They would be paying on the income that they have made, okay? The IRS will figure out what they, when we turn around and send this in and cancel the debt, they know what that income that bank is making.
Okay, so line 3 is the mortgage and our investment that we paid in. And line 7 is that same figure then?
No, is what you have basically, what
paid in?
You have paid in, okay? Okay, now just, okay, how much is left on your mortgage, okay? You subtract that from what is in line 3, and that's what you should end up with in line 7. Okay, you take the original mortgage, like for $100,000. Now, if you paid $25,000 in, okay, and the mortgage is sitting at $75,000, okay, you add what you paid in to that. So now you've got invested in that, an interest of $125,000 in that out there. You cancel the debt for that amount, and then you turn around and in block 7, you're going to get back $50,000. Because they only have a bill for $75,000 left right now. You follow that math?
I'm trying to.
Could you do it again, please?
Okay.
$100,000 mortgage.
You've got a $100,000 mortgage that you signed up for, okay?
Paid 25 in.
It's 10 years down the road, okay? Now they're coming after you, and they want the other $75,000 that is still left against that mortgage. You put in block 3 the $100,000 that was there. You cancel plus what you paid out of your back pocket, okay, like for $25,000. You add that to that, so now that becomes $125,000. And then you're going to cancel the debt for 10 times, or if it's a state bank, I would make it times 20. If it's a federal bank, I'd make it times 10. Okay. What is in line 3, and put that in line 2. Now, they only have a bill for $75,000, so you subtract $75,000 from line 3. That's going to leave $50,000 that you're going to claim back in line 7.
Okay.
Because so much of that bond has already paid that amount in. It's really paid most all of it in after 3 years, but you're just going to claim back $50,000 of it. Okay, the rest will go into your account when it gets settled up.
Hmm. You mean when we liquidate everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, when you come in, and death and resurrection is supposed to be a 3-day time frame, not a 30-day or whatever. Basically, those bonds are supposed to be brought into closure right now. Take out the extra fee for early withdrawal or early cancellation of those bonds.
fee are you referring to there?
Well, when you come in and start canceling these insurance policies, they've got 3 days.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're operating in insurance fraud. You can now, when you understand what's going on here, start utilizing the 3949As against them.
Reporting them.
Yes, for extortion, intimidation, racketeering, you name it. Not paying their taxes, all the good stuff.
Right.
They're the criminals, not you.
So where they've done a sheriff's auction and added more fees in, you would go with the sheriff's auction for the balance that's left, since they've added fees back in, or go with what you would have paid off?
Well, basically, you would throw that in as a special item. Cancel those debts, okay? If it's they're under a court action, right?
No, they just did a sheriff's auction, non-judicial state.
Okay. Well, basically, then I would basically do a 1099-C and cancel that much in debt against your account, and have your fictional person pay the bill. Release the assets to them. You cancel the debt behind your fictional person. That now frees up your assets that he is holding, and you have the payment made to them.
So I could actually file that against the county that did the sheriff's
You're
auction.
not filing. You're making a payment. You're releasing those funds. You endorse that bill over to them. Say, here, I'm releasing these funds over to you. They gave you a bill, didn't they? Now you give them a payment back out of your account. It's not coming out of your back pocket anymore.
Correct. Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then you turn around and go write out $1 million one and have that given back to you.
So they give us a piece of paper, we got to give them a piece of paper back.
Yeah.
Just a paper shovel.
But you've got to cancel the debt, the bonds that are behind it, to free up the assets that are out there in the Treasury Department in your name.
That's what I can do with that bill they sent me.
Yeah.
Send them another piece of paper back. They like paying with paper. Monopoly money. Frustrating, but it is.
Yeah, you give them the credits.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Patrick, this is Steve. The other day, you talked about the bifurcation. Was that the correct word, the bifurcation of the name, when they take your name and adulterate it or something? They change it into something else. They change it into the dead. Is that what the right word was?
Don't remember
I don't
that.
think so.
No, I think bifurcation is when they securitize your loan.
I don't remember using that word.
No, I don't remember that word either.
Well, back in August when I don't want to get into the personal affair, but I'll just say something really quick. they proscribed me back into the system when I thought I was on the county and, you know, doing my own thing, being a private civilian. They, you know, look up my VIN number, write the ticket with my old, you know, capitalized letter name, you know, first, get, middle, last, and then, you know, same with the registration, put a license plate on there when I wasn't displaying one, they put it on the ticket. But then when I signed it, I wrote, you know, Mr. Sawyer, Stephen Michael, and then I put non-assumpsit, and I put under threats, duress, and coercion. Well, they sent me a bill from the court just right after Thanksgiving to Sawyer, Stephen Michael, which isn't what the ticket was written out as, so they're already changing the name from what the ticket was written out on. You know, they're sending me, the man, the bill, in capital letters. They're changing that name around back into uppercase when the ticket was written to the other guy that had the given surname, you know, given and surname. So they're putting a fraud on the court just by changing the name on the same document.
You're right. Splitting a body into two parts.
Yeah, and see, that's what the courts basically, they're all frauds, okay? They're the black-robed. They're the priest of the black-hearted government.
So I got to tell them of their mistake and that, hey, I'm not responsible for that.
No,
you know?
You don't. You just turn around and you do a 1099-C.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I was planning to do that when they show up one of these days.
Now, see, when you do that, and I sent 22 of them in.
Yeah.
Just a week or so ago. I will come after them if they do not have those tickets and everything removed. I will submit copies of all those into the CID.
Yeah. Well, I'll just wait.
See, they try and operate okay, a traffic ticket stays on the books for 3 years. That's another confirmation right there that these things operate on, these bonds operate on a 3-year cycle. Is because the traffic tickets stay on the books for 3 years. Even though you paid out of your back pocket, you didn't cancel the bonds that they've written initially against that account. What you paid out of your back pocket is really going to the Federal Reserve bank system. They're the ones that are operating with pure extortion out here. The courts and the government, they're operating off of the usury money, the bonding money system.
Which is
so your labor assets are going to the Federal Reserve Bank.
Right, and it's not just because they're multiplying it times 10 or 20.
Yeah.
They're totally unjust.
So if you don't know the amount on a ticket, then you would just call the county court and ask them for the fee so that you can cancel or settle the debt.
Yeah.
And take it 10
You've got to know what the charge is, okay? Basically, if there's no charge, then basically you owe nothing. I'm here to settle this matter. You go into court that way and basically say, I'm here to settle this matter. I need to know what the charge is, what the value is, so I can set the debt off. If
yeah,
they
my
refuse
bill
to give it to you, you take it then and you file a complaint against them, and you can file it with the magistrate at the federal court level.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, I'm looking at the bill. It says $966, but it doesn't even have a dollar amount. It doesn't even say dollar or anything. It's in a box, so the whole says amount due, and the whole thing's in a box, and it's shadowed, and it says 966.00. But it's in a box, so it's not really part of the page. It's a shadowed box. It looks like, something you'd push your mouse on, It's an indented box with a shadow on the bottom and the right side. There's a dark shadow on it.
Now, did they have also an appearance bond on there too?
No appearance bond.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have just scan a copy and show it to you sometime. Yeah, everything's in a box, and it has a barcode on the document too. They call themselves Superior Court of California, County of Sacramento. Well, County of Sacramento is not listed with the Secretary of the State. I imagine it's a federal district, or it's just a private deal. It's a private, company, but it's not even registered with the Secretary of the State. I've already got certificates that Placer County that the Secretary of the State searched and found no evidence or record of Placer County or County of Placer or the Superior Courts of California, County of Placer. I got 3 certificates.
But see, what you're doing is you're going to be putting that charge in against your driver's license insurance policy.
Right.
Okay, to set off the debt, because that driver's license is a state insurance policy, a surety. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Secretary of Transportation and the Comptroller.
No, this basically the Commissioner of Insurance for the state of California, whoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Find out who your state insurance commissioner is. Send it directly to them, and I would also send a copy that I would address it, that basically the settlement is under both the insurance commissioner and under the comptroller of the state. The comptroller is ultimately responsible for settling all those bills and everything.
Yeah, I can just tell them my intention, and then when the 1099 forms show up, I can just mail them in. I can just mail in my intention now, notify the court that I'm going that way, and then when the forms show up, I'll fill them out and send them in.
Yeah, well, I'll get back online and order some more, okay?
Right.
They may have lost your order or whatever, okay? You should have had some by now.
I made a second order a couple days ago, last week actually, but the first ones never showed up, so I had to order again. And if they do show up, I'm going to order them some more. Yeah, right. So I can hand them out to friends.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick, how about your new form to replace it?
The 2014 forms.
The 1099-C. You said you got a new form you're creating, an alternate.
Well, these will be basically for shutting down the insurance policy.
Okay.
Or, these are a little more in detail out here. But you can use the other forms for these run-of-the-mill items that are out here right now.
Okay.
Will we be able to use your new forms as amendments to the IRS forms?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, you said you have a new 56 also,
these
right?
These forms that I'm making up are for closing down the account.
Okay. Okay.
And you have new 56 forms too, you said.
Yeah.
You changed. Yeah.
You're now identifying yourself as the genuine American legacy owner.
Right.
Okay?
I wrote that down.
And then you're coming in and you're declaring your office, okay, that your decedent is now your fictional person. He's now dead. So now with that Form 56, and also with your SS4, you have, as a death certificate, you have proof that you have filed that and that he is now dead, and that they can't operate with that insurance policy out there any longer, and basically the Treasury can't hold that certificate of live birth any longer, or the state, they have to close it down because he's now dead. But you're not dead. Okay? See, the death certificate that goes into the record books is for the living person. You're not dead, but you can kill your fictional person off.
Right.
The one that they created with our birth certificate.
Yeah.
Seems to me the court cases and tickets would be minimal once they find out there's nothing in it for them.
That's
What's
the
that?
after. Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I'm just saying if the person is dead, they go look you up, they'll leave you alone. There's no point in taking you to court or anything else.
Well, basically, we've allowed them, okay, to look at that, but we will come in after them, and basically we'll let them have a little tidbit here, and then basically down the road, they ain't going to have anybody to write a ticket against, because they can't write a ticket against the living individual. You have to terminate your vehicle out of the public world when you collapse that certificate of title also, because it's in your fictional person's name. Now, look up what it says about place in Anderson's Law Dictionary. They can only write a ticket when it is in a public place. If you've turned that vehicle into a private place, not private property, you claim it's now a private place, they can't come on that private place.
Great.
You don't get into the cop car or the highway patrol car. You do that, you're going into a public place. Now you are undercover. That's one of the other tricks they try and get you into, is getting into their vehicle. Say, no, I'll stand out here on the highway while you write the ticket.
Maybe
well, they can't write the ticket if you're uncovered.
And maybe better if you stayed in your car, so that they don't interpret that as abandoning your vessel.
But if your vehicle is still in the public world, it don't make any difference whether you're in their car or in your car. You're undercover.
Yeah.
You're in a public place.
Yeah, they did do that. They tricked me. Said, "Oh, it's not safe out here on the road. I want you to sit in the back of my patrol car for a while."
That's right.
Yeah. I
They
just
get
said
you
no. Thank
under
you.
their cover. Now you are covered, and you are in a public place, because that cop car is a public vehicle. Just like your registered vehicle is a public vehicle until you get it unpublicized. And that's when you read that definition about place in Anderson's Law Dictionary. you need to read between the lines just a little, but basically it's sitting right there. You need to start looking at dictionaries. The words are there to help you. And just don't use one dictionary, go to several of them. Okay, any other questions?
I don't have any. You guys have more? Well, again, we've used 2.5 hours of your time, Patrick. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm going to get back on these forms, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah,
you guys
take
care.
We've learned a lot again. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Thomas?
Yeah, I'm here, trying to figure out which window is what.
Did you get it? Marshall is there too, right? Did you guys
Pardon?
get it? Did you get the mortgage numbers, how he did it?
I'm going to have to go back and listen to the call because when I take notes, my mind goes out of whack. So I'm going to have to go.
I'm going to go back and listen to the call too.
Yeah, it's about 1:45 into the call.
Oh, okay. You marked it down. Good.
Okay.
All right,
45 into the call.
I'm going to turn off the recording.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.